Good day, everybody, and welcome to another episode on my retirement in Malaysia YouTube video series. Now, today we're going to talk about a topic which I think it's just a reminder. I may have covered some parts of this video before in my earlier videos last year, but I think it's a good time to remind everybody why this is important and why the video is why is it attractive for Singaporeans or people in Singapore to retire in Johor Bahru right now in 2024, right? I think as we enter this year in 2024, I found that the reasoning for retiring in Malaysia has gotten a lot more attractive. So let me explain to you in this video. So the first reason why it's attractive to retire in Malaysia is of course the currency lah. Okay, now Sing dollar right is hovering around 3.4 something, 3.5 to one Sing dollar, right? You can get 3.4 to 3.5 ringgit. So your currency is strong, right? I think everybody knows this. This is common fact, right? And as a Singaporean, when you go to Malaysia, you find that things are comparatively, let's not use the word cheap, but a lot better value. Okay, so I met a client, right? She told me that she no longer eat zi char in Singapore because after she eats zi char in Malaysia, she just find that zi char in Singapore is ridiculously expensive. I know what she means. Okay, if you go to any restaurant, zi char restaurant in Malaysia or Singapore, in Malaysia or Johor Bahru, right, seafood, it doesn't even have to be seafood, just normal zi char, no seafood. I'm just talking about not crab or all this thing lobster. Just eat normal zi char, right? In Malaysia, so much value. Yeah, I don't know how to explain to you unless I bring you there itself, right? But it's so much cheaper. You get a lot of good food. You feed yourself very well, right? In Singapore, the same money, you go to hawker in hawker center in Singapore, the same money you go to Malaysia you can eat restaurant one, you know. So the quality is very big difference, and so your currency has give you a lot more purchasing power. Now, as a retiree, this is very important because you want to stretch your dollar, right? And going to Malaysia give you a lot of value. So not only food, right? We're talking about groceries, right? We're talking about cost housing, right? You can rent. It's so much cheaper in Malaysia, in Johor Bahru. You don't need to buy. Cost property price in general in Malaysia is a lot cheaper. You don't need to buy entertainment. You know, all this is so much cheaper in JB. So it really makes the you go to JB. I have a lot of people tell me story for wow, 这么划算, right? And you don't have to just listen to me. You go to YouTube, you go to TikTok, you just go and Google lah. A holiday in JB or spend money in JB or something like that. A lot of people, content producer making videos like this. I'm going to just link some photos here of other content producers talking about how retirement in JB is so nice or spending money in JB is so nice, right? Because so much value is found, and this is purely because of the currency. So if you have been in Singapore, you're realizing that cost of living in Singapore is high, right? Inflation has hit Singapore bad, right? It also hit Malaysia lah, but the currency give you an advantage, right? So you find that a GST now 9%, so a lot of things in Singapore price go up, right? And you find that your money shrink in Singapore, right? I just teach you one very simple way to make you feel happy again. It's just go to JB and try to spend some money in JB. You find that 很值得嘞，很值得，很 worth it to spend money in JB compared to Singapore. I mean, this is like a big dirty open secret. I don't know if it's a secret or not secret anymore, right? A lot of people know they go to JB, it's actually very fun and worth to spend your money nowadays. So I'm just telling you guys, if you guys haven't tried it, go and try it out, have an open mind, right? You'll find that cost of living can be reduced if you spend more time in JB, right? Spend things in JB, buy stuff there, right? So especially to reduce as in retirement, right? The high cost of living now in Singapore. Now, Singapore has sometimes been quoted as the most expensive city or one of the most expensive cities in the world, right? Of course, it depends on where you're spending money. Like some of those reports are not 100% accurate, but like I said, you can stretch your dollar better in Malaysia, right? Which is just nearby. Which comes to the next point, which is JB is nearby, right? Close distance, right? Typically, when we think about JB, we think about the jam, the traffic jam. And yes, traffic is still pretty heavy sometimes today. Like now, it's June school holiday, so traffic is pretty bad on even on weekdays, right? But if you're a retiree, typically you have more control over your time. If you're retired, okay. So retiree typically can enter JB at a much better time frame, so you can go when it's not so jam. And you must remember that the RTS, right, is coming soon. In case you have been living under a rock, RTS is the MRT linking Woodlands to Johor Bahru, which will be completed in 2 years' time. So with the MRT, right, a lot of people are looking forward to this, right, because they know that going to JB will be a lot easier, even in peak period, because you can sit by MRT, okay, from Singapore. So again, when we talk about retirement, right? Some people misunderstand me. They think, oh, retirement means I leave everything in Singapore, run to Malaysia, as if like abandon Singapore. That no, you couldn't be further from the truth. Okay, the good thing about JB because it's so nearby. When you're retiring in JB, doesn't mean that you have to spend all your time in JB. I give you two examples. There was one elderly couple. They weekday in JB, weekend in Singapore. Why weekend in Singapore? Because grandchildren. right? The grandchildren at home, they go back in Singapore on the weekend to see the grandchildren. Okay, so weekday they spend a lot of the time in JB. The other couple terbalik is also elderly, but they weekday Singapore, weekend JB one. Then I asked, how come why? Weekday Singapore because weekday they help to send the grandchildren to school and fetch the grandchildren from school. So Thursday Friday morning they send the children to school and then they bye bye. They tell their children the parents, the grandchildren parents oh bye bye 我去 JB so they go JB, then the parents will pick up on the Friday evening and take care of the children over the weekend. So you see the balik one, but you see there's so you so you can yeah, but also half time in JB and Singapore lah, right? Yeah, so this means because JB is so nearby, right, and Singapore is nearby, so effectively they do not abandon their friends, right? Their social network in Singapore is still there. If they need to go to see hospital or MediSave in Singapore, they can still go. It's not difficult, right? It's nearby lah, so you don't have to abandon Singapore. So their retirement in JB is retirement like that. Not really transplant, totally forget everything, go to another country, right? If you were to say go to Penang or go to Thailand or go to Australia, then yes, you really transplant, abandon everything, right? Because bo pian ma, Thailand, Penang, so far, how to come back like that, right? But if you stay JB, right, this is still possible. So the attractiveness of retiring in JB is also the close proximity. Which brings me to the next question is, do you need a visa? Right now, if you're doing like half JB and Malaysia, you don't really need a visa. But if you're really going to spend like what we say uproot, spend a lot of time in Malaysia, then you need a visa, right? Which comes to the Malaysia My Second Home. That is a typical solution. You can watch my other videos about Malaysia My Second Home, and Malaysia My Second Home will probably have new information coming in later this year on the application process, right? That will be exciting. I think a lot of people will be excited when the MM2H is finally finalized later this year, right? That's if you need a visa because you're going to spend majority or most of your time in Malaysia. But if like the earlier examples that I gave you, right, like 50-50 or 40-60 kind of scenario, I think that the current tourist visa is fine because it's really like a holiday home. Other things I'll probably clarify is you do not need to buy property in Malaysia to retire. You can always rent. I know a lot of you are saying rent, rent. Yeah, rent. If you want to rent, rent. Right, you don't need to buy. Right, buy of course if you want to buy. I mean, some people like to stay in a house that they own. Some people don't like the idea of paying rental to somebody the money cannot get back. Okay, up to you. No right or wrong. Right, you want to stay condo, stay landed, stay Austin, stay Iskandar Putri. Up to you. Right, you stay wherever you like. You don't ask me where you want to stay. Right, you go to JB and you find whichever location is suitable for you, you're familiar, you go there often, you like it, then you stay there lah. I mean, you choose, right? I'm not going to choose for you where you want to stay. Okay, and the other thing, of course, about safety. A lot of people ask, some people ask question, is it JB safe or not? Again, I repeat this until I don't want to repeat. I think JB is very, very safe already. I mean, we don't, if you consider that hundreds of thousands people travel to JB every day, right? I think the number of crime case we have in JB is very, very small, right? Those people would tend to ask this question, JB safe or not? Typically have not been to JB recently. JB have improved so much in terms of safety. You can watch other people video lah. If you don't want to listen to me, you think I'm biased, go and listen to other people who go to JB quite often one. Okay. And I think the fourth reason, which I think is quite attractive to why retiring in JB is good or attractive, is because of your lifestyle options. Now, number one is travel, right? If you stay in JB, right, you open up the entire Malaysia hinterland for you to travel. Number one, like for example, if you can go to Malacca, you can go to Desaru, you can go to Kluang, all the coffee and the nice places, the kampong areas. Some people like that. You can go to Genting Highland, you can go to Penang, you can travel. Suddenly, the whole of the Malaysia hinterland is open up to you in terms of retirement options. You're not just confined to Singapore environment. So I spoke to a lot of retirees. This was one thing that they found very attractive, right? Suddenly, Malaysia 原来这么大，这么多地方可以去, got so many places to go, and they really take advantage of this, right, as part of your retirement lifestyle. So again, you're not just limited to Johor Bahru, right? Johor Bahru is just a base for you to reach out to the rest of Johor to go and explore, right, in your retirement period. So that's a very big lifestyle travel option for you. Right, other people take advantage of JB in terms of the hobbies, right? Like they go to JB, all of a sudden, I had one client, he converted his condo, right, built a library, or he said in Singapore, you will not have space to do that. So in JB, he converted like 2 bedrooms into a library, merged together. Some people go and take up golf, play up golf again. JB got so many golf courses. Some people go and really drive car because car in Malaysia is so cheap, so they buy multiple car. Okay, so a lot of hobby things appear lah, right? You never really think about it lah, until these people tell you. I also never. Sometimes all this story that I'm telling you now is I hear from other people tell me one. Oh, retirement they do this. Some people say, oh, they go hiking, they go fishing, right? Because Malaysia got so much nature areas compared to Singapore. So they go Singapore on the sian already, they go MacRitchie, all this place. How many times can you go? So they go to other places in Malaysia that they never really explore before, right? So these are what makes Malaysia retirement attractive. So I hope this was useful to you, right? Help you reignite some passion or excitement into why retirement in JB is an interesting option. So if you guys are interested to find out more, do leave a question or comment below. I will more than happy to answer you. If you like our content, do like, share, and subscribe. More than happy to add more value videos that are exciting to you. And I think this video today is just to reinforce everybody why I think Malaysia or Johor Bahru is an extremely exciting retirement option today, especially in Singapore where so many people are aging, right? Singapore now has a lot of people in the retirement options or looking at retirement options today. So it's good to plan ahead or at least explore this idea of retirement in Malaysia. So thank you very much. Do like, share, subscribe. Thank you all, and bye bye.